Hello, everybody out there in podcast land. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Lone Wolf Paintball. Lone Wolf Paintball is an online supplier that has been around for a very long time. They've actually been Michigan's premier paintball field and supplier since 1987. Now expanding into the online retail store, they are really trying to do their best to supply everything you need to the paintball community. They have it all. You can head over to lonewolfpaintball.com. If you want Field 1, HK, GI, Dye, it doesn't matter. They got it. You can surf the website. You can check it out. They have what you need, guaranteed. And they also boast excellent customer service and same-day shipping. That's pretty badass. You could go to the website, order something, and it's going to be sent out that day. That's fantastic. That's amazing customer service. So again, guys, if you would like, you could head over to lonewolfpaintball.com. You could also check them out on YouTube and Instagram. Their Instagram is Lone Wolf PB, and their YouTube is Lone Wolf Paintball. And you can see and keep up to date with all their latest deals, their sales, their content. It's a lot of really fun stuff. Play the Game Podcast is excited to have them on board, and you guys should head over and become part of the community. All right. This episode is brought to you by Transfuse. Transfuse is the only all-natural electrolyte drink that you guys need to have in your cabinets. We love this stuff. We've been using this for an entire season now. This stuff is amazing. I feel great when I drink Transfuse. I drink it every single day. I don't go a day without putting a packet of Transfuse in my water. It's very easy, very portable, easy to travel with, and delicious to drink, which means that you're going to love drinking it and you're going to drink more of it, which is going to be incredibly beneficial to your health. Has magnesium, potassium, sodium, which are all amazing for proper hydration. It has zinc, vitamin C, vitamin B, and choline. These things are incredible cognitive enhancers and immune boosting formulas that you don't want to miss out on, especially in times like this. I'm telling you, I drink Transfuse every single day. I love it. Tyler does as well. Anybody who has tried it has been just pouring with great feedback back to us. There's a reason that they're at all the NXL events, and a lot of the top teams and top professionals are using this product. Do not walk around dehydrated. I never realized how dehydrated I was, even when I was drinking all sorts of water. It's not enough. You need the proper nutrition. You need the right ingredients. Transfuse has done a great job of curating the perfect formula. Transfuse is absolutely spectacular, and for all of our listeners, there is a special deal for any Play the Game listener. If you head over to translabs.com, that's TRANZLABS.com, and use code PLAYTHEGAME at checkout, you will get 10% off. If you subscribe, which means they auto ship you your package every single month, whatever you want, whatever type, whatever flavor, whatever electrolyte formula you desire, they will give you an additional 11% off. So it becomes a 21% discount exclusively for all Play the Game listeners. Huge, huge shout out. And we are incredibly thankful for our supporters. And if you guys would like to go support them, it's translabs.com. Use code Play the Game. We are brought to you by Heal Brand. Heal Brand is the best CBD company that we have ever come across. I've been taking CBD products for years now, and I absolutely love it. But Heal Brand has taken my CBD consumption level to the next tier. This stuff is really the luxurious, high-quality, best brand that you're going to come across. Their whole claim to fame is the nanotechnology. It's the real deal. The claim is that through their nanotechnology, the CBD can actually break through the cellular wall and get into the bloodstream much faster and more efficiently. So you need less to do more. Often CBD products, you'll need to take it for a couple weeks before you really start noticing all of the benefits. With this stuff, as soon as you take it, you notice it right away. Within 15, 20 minutes, you're feeling the benefits of CBD. CBD is great for inflammation, anxiety, sleeping, all sorts of different stuff. CBD is really exploding on the scene because it has such a wide variety of benefits. I personally love to use CBD before I go to bed so I can get a full, well-rested night of sleep. Sleep is so crucial. It's so important. If you want to recover well, if you want to fight off depression and anxiety and those unwanted emotions, proper sleep is where you need to start. CBD products really help me do that, and Heal Brand CBD has a wide variety of options of different products, different formulas. It is all natural. It's amazing. This stuff is fantastic. You guys can head over to healbrand.com, check them out, and there is an exclusive offer to all of our PTG listeners. If you use code PLAYTHEGAME at checkout, you'll get 10% off. Yo, everybody out there in the world. I had to change it up on you guys. I had a couple people call me out for always saying podcast land. But either way, for all the PTG listeners out there, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This episode, we have Grayson Gladstone. You guys might know him as Dynasty's newest pickup. We are incredibly excited for him. Grayson has been chopping at the bit for quite some time, trying to earn a pro spot. He works incredibly hard and has a ton of great insight on what it takes to reach the highest levels. So without further ado, we're going to hop in the show.
That was an insane inside move by Marcelo Margot. Great communication.
And the crowd starts chanting Harmon.
Great shot by all the guys. So Tyler Harmon saved that game.
He came out with 2 wins. Marcelo Margot was on fire.
All right, Grayson Gladstone in the building, Dynasty's newest pickup. We just got back from a nice little trip down in Mexico to play in Arturo's league, the MXL. Grayson, what's going on, brother?
Hey, man. Just, recovering from a great trip. We had some good times, some rocky times. Got back at 3 a.m. from all the travel. So,
wait, you guys were vacationing together? You guys are vacationing? Is that what's happening? It's amazing.
Yes, sir. Went on a little vacation. I guess you could call it that. Down in lovely Guadalajara, Arturo's hometown. It was nice. The trip home last night wasn't that great. And Grayson, you definitely had the short end of the stick on that one.
Dude.
Yeah.
You got in at 3?
Yeah. So we flew from Guadalajara to TJ, and then to cross the border through CBX, it took us an hour and a half. Yeah. Finally get to all of our cars, and then we had a 2.5 hour drive home.
Damn, dude. What is the process like right now with all that, like with COVID and everything? How does that look?
Honestly, so with us going through TJ, it's really simple. It's almost the same as just kind of normally crossing the border. I think when you fly, though, they're requiring COVID tests to come back into the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So because we were
the MXL,
flying in and out of Mexico, we got to bypass that.
Yep. And the MXL is doing amazing things, man. Shout out to Arturo and everything that he's got going on down there in Mexico. They're having a lot of fun. I saw you guys doing a little party, a little mariachi dance at the end of the tournament, having some fun, drinking some brews.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it was crazy. One, we didn't have, we lost. We got 3rd place. So obviously you just wanted to kind of get out of the field and get back to the hotel, shower and get some dinner, but nope, not everybody else. They wanted to hang out, have a good time. And it's like, it's hard not to smile when you see everyone else,
of course,
that is just having a good time, staying at the field. Grayson and I finally did Uber back to our hotel at like 9 PM. I'm not kidding. The event ended at, I don't know, what time do you think, Grayson? 4 o'clock, 4:30,
6:30.
Sick. I don't even think it was that late, to be honest. I feel like they were doing the award ceremony at 6:30 and at 9 o'clock, people were ordering pizzas at the field and drinking 40s, just having a good time. Grayson and I, we had to mission abort, get back to the hotel so we could clean up and go get some food. But dude, that is truly the nicest grass I've ever played on in my life.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Whoa, that's a statement right there.
Ever in my life. It's the nicest field that I've ever played on in my life. You could play with no knee pads or no elbow pads. You could go full Ryan Moorhead.
Yeah, that's Moorheading. For sure,
that's Moorheading.
That's
for sure.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. I got to say, it was like, dude, our bodies would feel so good if we could play on stuff like that all the time. It really made me just so sad that we don't have that kind of terrain to play in all the time to practice.
Oh, we would just ruin it. That's all we would do. It wouldn't be nice.
It was lush, plushy grass. My body doesn't hurt at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like meticulous with it. He loves it. He loves taking care of his grass. It
was like diving on a Tempur-Pedic bed.
Nice.
It was crazy. Honestly, the grass was my favorite part of the whole trip.
I can't wait.
It was fantastic.
Even into the finals, 40 teams played on it and it still looked good by the end of Sunday.
Yeah. There were no issues with it. It's so lush and thick. And his dog does a really good job of fertilizing it throughout the weekend. They're just big piles of Arturo's dog's caca all over the place.
Yeah.
Like
blended in.
Yeah. Good old Django. Django's his name. Dog's awesome.
Yeah, he is. I know. I follow Artie on his Instagram, and him and Django are always running around the field, making sure it's dialed in.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, so flying home was a
So,
little interesting, but
yeah, that's never fun. Tell me the war stories. What do we got?
well, we just, we thought that would be the smoother and quicker way. And so we landed in TJ, went down a baggage claim, got our bags, and you go through something that's called CBX. You get this pass to cross the border. That line was like wrapped around baggage claim. It was a pretty big ordeal. Took quite a bit of time. And once you get through that line, you think that you're home free. You're now going to walk across the bridge that takes you into the US. And I thought it was gonna be smooth sailing from there. As soon as we get like halfway across the bridge, we see the line that is just completely backed up against the wall. And I've never done it before, so I didn't really know how long it was. I'm like, Grayson, how long is this? And it's long, dude. It's really long. It's like, oh man. So we're standing in the line. It's keep in mind, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, right? We're exhausted. We just want to, or it's like midnight. We just want to get, to our cars. Grayson has a 2-hour drive. We were also with JP. Major shout out to JP, by the way, dude. JP is just such a stunner. He played so good, man. It's cool to see the old school ballers back in it. Grayson, we'll have to talk about the Warriors because they had a team full of them. Lasoya, Davey Williamson, all them were out there.
It was a weekend of nostalgia.
Yeah, we're standing in this line, and like there were 2 aisles. One was completely empty, and the rest was everybody stacked against the wall. And a few brave souls would like walk all the way down. I'm like, ooh, that's risky because if you can't get through down there, you're losing your spot in line. You have to come all the way back and restart, right? And the line was piling up behind us like nonstop. And, we see a few of them like not come back, and then a few of them get turned away. And finally, we're just like, screw it, dude, let's go. We're going through this line. So we walk all the way down there. We get to the front, and security comes up, and they're like, "Are you global entry?" None of us are global entry. I just look at him like, yeah, absolutely. All 3 of us, we've got our global entry. He's like, all right this way. And just took us to the elevator, brought us down. We had to then get in another line, but we probably cut about an hour's wait. What do you think, Grayson?
At least an hour. I mean, we bypassed like 200 people.
Yeah, that's the old Jedi mind trick. They're like, you're like, yes.
He's like, man, all you guys got global entry? We're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, why wouldn't we? What do you mean? This is it would suck to wait in that line. What do you only the dummies do that.
Dude, you lucked out there.
Yeah.
But
so the tournament overall, you guys talk to me about that. You guys took 3rd place. What was the catalyst? What happened out there?
Grayson?
Yeah. So going into this event, actually, before I joined the team, Marcelo and I were already planning on playing together. And, we thought even at the practices, like, okay, like even if I play this first event, I won't be ranked pro, so we'll be good. A few weeks later, we show up at the event. I guess a lot of teams have been complaining, and Marcelo and I, we can't be on the field at the same time. So already kind of threw a wrench in our gears, but you know what? Move on, move past it.
Embrace it, yeah.
Plan ahead. And then, so we do like little practice, some good points and bad points, just kind of get our feet wet, get warmed up. We go have dinner, get back to the house, and it is like volcano hot in all the bedrooms. There's no air conditioning. It was like 80, 90 degrees, and nobody got any sleep.
It was a 100% brick house too. So it just traps the heat, right? Like I'm glad that it wasn't just me, because the next morning I knew that I was going to be in a bad mood, and I knew I was going to complain. And I was like, I just hope it's not just me. Everybody was like, did you sleep? Did you sleep? No, I didn't sleep. Did you sleep? Like
that's where you got to pull the Blake Yarber. You got to Yarber it. And
I was going to sleep outside. Dude, it wasn't any better. So it was so hot. It was so hot there. We had all the windows open, everything, but I legitimately slept naked, like on top of my sheets with the fan on me. And I slept 30 minutes that night. I'm not kidding. I was just soaking wet. And so when we woke up, or when I just rolled out of bed, because I was already up pretty much the whole night to go play, I was like, oh, this is miserable, dude.
And there was thunderstorms too. It was just like, it wasn't even like a nice, quiet night. There was thunderstorms clapping, doors that were slamming, just like.
Yeah, dude, I swear to God, there was like 4 different doors throughout the night that slammed like with the biggest might out of anything you've ever heard. Yeah. So if you had just fallen asleep, you were definitely woken up then. It was interesting for sure.
Those
But
were the chupacabras. They have
the
chupacabras out there that slam the doors in the middle of the night. That's
Yeah.
what they do. So
Yeah.
don't worry about those,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then we showed up to the field in the dark, and I think someone
Nice.
had just stepped in Django's little
Yeah, nice pile.
fertilizers. So we were just like trying to get dressed, but also shining flashlights to make sure that we didn't step in any dog poop and really start off on a wrong foot.
Literally.
Yeah. And then going into our games, Arturo, hey, are we starting on time? He's like, yeah, we're starting in 4 minutes. So we rush, we hustle, we get into the pits.
4 minutes.
We show up there on time. Yeah. We were there early, but like it was hustle time when he said 4 minutes. And so we're on the field, we're ready, and the other team isn't ready, and they're yelling and they're complaining. And
that's a penalty.
They got a little
Yeah.
well, unfortunately not. They got a little like pretty much 10 extra minutes to pot up and get ready and
yeah, as we're standing on the field, like waiting for the horn to go, like because they told us we're for sure starting on time. So we're potted up on the field, waiting. They got a little extra love, but it's okay. I honestly would hate to win a game because the other team's like not ready. That's so lame. That's
it would have sucked.
But I was like, Arturo, dude, I just asked you 4 minutes ago if we're definitely starting on time. You're not letting me and Grayson play together. What the hell? You're hosing
and
us.
mind you, he slept 5 minutes, so he's just
I'm
on
pissed.
full. You're peaking on the red zone. You're like,
Tyler knows what kind of mood I'm in for sure at this point.
Dude, I cannot wait to get down there. Honestly, it's one of the last tournament series that I've never played, and I'm super excited to hopefully get out there once. I got a lot of responsibilities, and once things line up properly, then definitely make my way down there.
Dude, I highly recommend it for anyone. It's amazing. I've been going for the past year and a half, and there's a lot of just great community folks over there, and good food, and the grass. You just can't beat that grass.
Amongst any of the Latin American tournaments I've ever been to, between Mexico, all of South America, even I'll include some of like the Asian ones. And you know what? Actually, I can include Australia as well. And I always put Australia in high regard. To me, they're the third best series. And what I mean by that is obviously you have the US is first, most competitive. The European series is the second. And then to me, Australia was always the third as far as like competition and being well ran and that kind of things. But Arturo's is like, it's so professional. You almost feel like you're on the NXL pro field. He has a massive MXL tower where they do a webcast. The webcast is really good. I got to give it to him. It's free on Facebook. He does a really good job with that. And they've got the banners around the whole field. Again, the grass is amazing. So he does it. He does a nice job for sure. He definitely does a nice job and runs a professional looking event. And so I think people are attracted to that. And yeah, it's cool little spot.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Arturo. One time. Can't wait to see everybody for practice soon. We got, the tournament coming up. We got the rookie here who has just joined the squadron and is now an honorary Dynasty member for life, man. That's a pretty huge accomplishment. Before we get into everything that you have accomplished, we kind of like to dip into your heritage, kind of get your grassroots. Like, where are you at right now? Where are you recording from?
Yeah, I'm Kevin's gonna love this. I'm actually, a couple minutes away from Dodger Stadium now in Atwater Village, right in LA.
Yep.
And my mom bought this house. I've been around here, for like 15 years, but I'm born and raised in LA. I've lived, like in the Valley and West LA, and then here for a while.
Yeah.
And yeah,
awesome.
LA is definitely like a big part of my upbringing.
For the listeners,
shout out to LA.
Shout out to LA one time, but San Diego Padres are much better. And for the listeners, Kevin is Grayson is referring to Skinny Kevin, our new coach. So Skinny Kevin is a massive Padres fan, right? And Grayson is
die hard.
Yeah, so it's really funny when Grayson got on the team. Well, I'll let you tell the story. Actually, Grayson, you tell this one pretty well.
It was a little random. So I fly in for the second layout practice kind of last minute, and it's like 11:30 at night. I get in the car and he's just all Padre'd out already, and he's like, "Oh, are you a Padres fan?" I'm like, well, I kind of grew up next to Dodger Stadium, so. And then the next morning, everyone's like, "Oh, I heard you're a Dodgers fan. I heard you're a Dodgers fan." It's just like left and
wildfire.
right, and then to the point where he actually bought me a Padres shirt and said I had to wear it. And so, at the Orlando event, I was rocking it and everything, and
I mean,
we could salty about that.
We could see if the LA Ironmen have a spot or something if you prefer LA.
Yeah.
San Diego is kind of the move.
Why not? Yeah.
I guess San Diego's all right.
Yeah, it's a good city, man. It's a good city.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that, Grayson.
Okay.
You got that phone call, again, it was already weekend 2 of, so everyone had already played the first weekend of the layout. We're, 7-8 days away from the actual event, and you get the phone call. What was that like? How did that go? Let's walk the listeners through that, because it's a big moment, and we'll regress. We're going to go through how you got into the game and all of that. But since you just brought it up, let's kind of touch on that real quick.
Sure. So assistant coach Victor Gamboa of the team.
No, that's my coach, Doug.
Coach one time.
Yeah.
Vic Gamboa, coach baby.
Vic. Let's go.
Yeah. Vic the man. He's a really good personal friend of mine. He actually owned the semi-pro team I played on for the past couple of years.
Yeah.
So, obviously, there's a great connection there. And he's been
what team name
for a long time.
What team name?
California Elite.
Yep. California Elite.
Yeah.
Major shout out to them.
And, he gives me a phone call and says, "Hey, some guys are injured." And, he's trying to see what he can do about, filling out a role. And, he talks to the team, and basically at 4 p.m. on Friday, I get a call to book a flight to Sacramento. And, you get that phone call, you don't hesitate. It's the opportunity of a lifetime, whether it works out or not. And, I ran home, I packed my bags, and I made arrangements to go to LAX and fly to Sacramento.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That is a crazy moment. And I'm glad to hear that Ryan is doing better. It's crazy what happened to his back. I was watching the Spick and Span show. I'm a fan, and I was actually on there typing in there, "Let's go," getting the people riled up over there. And they were like, "Hey, PTG, what are you guys doing over here?" But I'm glad to hear that his back is doing better. And he's doing all the necessary things to get on the field. And then, dude, thankfully we had you to come in and help, because we had a couple different things that were going on that had us running a little bit thin heading into that event. And mind you, we have just got a new coach, and there's some, from World Cup to now, there have been several different shifts in the organization that it's a dance. And this happens a lot with teams, right? You gotta be moving and shaking and learning and growing and progressing in every moment, because every moment's brand new. Every part of the, the moving machine is always changing. So it's amazing that we were able to, put all the pieces together in time to get out to the event. And we made it to Sunday, had a close game with X Factor that we lost, but I feel like we did really well. And dude, I think that we make it past that X Factor game. It's a whole different tournament there. When we go heads up against some of those other teams. So I'm stoked for Philly and can't wait to see everybody very soon for some practice.
Yeah. It was an unfortunate circumstance the way I had to get on the team, but
yeah.
I don't think
we're glad to have you, man.
Yeah, the way it happened, right?
How did you prepare,
up?
Friday? How did you prepare mentally Friday night coming into just a last minute tryout like that? You didn't really have time to prepare. You didn't have time to go and do drills or make sure you were extra sharp. You were kind of put on notice and had to show up and perform the next morning. How'd you mentally prepare for that?
Yeah. So luckily I was already planning on playing the event. And so I played the previous weekend on all sides of the field. So luckily I had a good understanding of the layout. And again, thankfully Vic, he sent me the bunker calls, and I just sat on a plane. I did little mental flashcards. I was closing my eyes and I was visualizing all the bunker names. And I know a few of your guys' calls, so I was just kind of running through that in my head. And really just like thinking about like, hey, this is the shot from this bunker, and just kind of like doing my homework as I flew in to really just be sharp and ready to
Mhm.
play.
Is that something that you do often? When,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I like whenever the layout comes out, I'm walking it on guns up and
Hmm.
trying to just I end up kind of practicing all over. So I usually try to learn at least the majority of the field as many spots as I can.
Yeah. Yeah.
And go
I
through it.
mean, you practice religiously, and it's what you have to do if you want to become one of the best at the sport or any sport, anything you do in life. You got to be at it. You got to be going for it. And I definitely see you going for it, man. And that's the reason why you get opportunities like the one that you received, is because you're doing all the things. You're putting yourself in position to be successful. There's a formula to this. It's not some type of rocket science thing. It's a formula. If you watch what he's done, what Grayson's done, and you watch similar individuals, watch what they do and look at the opportunities that present themselves, and then you can start to pave a way. And people always ask us, we hear this all day long, how can I go pro? How can I get on a team? What do I do? Look, it's not going to happen overnight, and it's not going to be easy. It's going to be the furthest thing from it. But if you apply yourself and you do all the right steps, you can do it, just like what you did. And we're honored to have you. I'm so excited to watch your progression and see how you become a top level pro player. It's one thing to get in the pros. It's a whole nother thing to traverse it and go up it.
Yeah,
So we're stoked to have you, man. It's going to be fun.
yeah. I'm beyond excited. I mean, I was in shock for like 2 weeks, and it was just like it was just pretty unbelievable.
Hell yeah.
I've dedicated almost every weekend of my life for the past number of years to this sport, and watched every game from all the events, and even looking at games in the past and tried to play as many events as I could. And
Mm-hmm.
if it meant showing up to the field and shooting a pole by myself, I was willing to do it. So
Yeah.
and now it's really about working even harder, but working a little differently too. um
How
Mm-hmm.
so?
like a lot of the chess match and stuff like that goes on in that pro field.
Mm. What I mean, this is great insight. So that was your pro debut, right?
Yeah,
Now you have a whole new set of things that you want to accomplish. What are some of those things that you want to accomplish on that list that you've recognized? You're talking about the chess game, you're talking about the multi-level. There's so many levels to it, right? When you're out there, what are a few that we can hit on that we can progress with?
yeah. I think definitely closing out the match, I think, is, as you progress throughout the divisions,
Mhm.
it just gets harder and harder. You see people picking off low body situations and stuff like that, and that's because you really have to dig guys out of their bunkers. You really have to work with your team to pinch guys out, to put pressure, and you really got to pass along the information. You got to have your eyes ready for moves at all times. You got to expect the unexpected. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's really just about like the field awareness and how to leverage your team to pinch guys out.
Mm-hmm. And then slam dunks, lots of
Slam
slam
dunks.
dunks.
Green lights.
Green lights. Yeah. Yeah.
It,
It's a fun game, man.
you got to be able to process the information and know what to do with it faster than the other guys. That's really, at the end of the day, what it comes down to. Recognizing where
Uh-huh.
your advantages are, where your disadvantages are. If your disadvantage is going to hurt you more than their advantage is going to help them. And what holes you got to plug. It really is to kind of touch on that, like one common thing that I notice when I go and work with divisional teams, if they lose a couple bodies, or if they lose one body off the break, right? You break out, you go 2-1-2, two snake side, one in the center, two Dorito side. And the team loses one player on the Dorito side. Well, now the other player on the Dorito side decides, hey, let's like cross it up. No, it's not time to cross it up. Still follow through the game plan, still try to get down the field. And actually the snake players, instead of taking one of your guns and looking Dorito way to slow their Dorito side, you still have an even chance on your snake side. You didn't lose anyone on the snake side. So go win the game before their Dorito player recognizes their advantage and comes and wins the game. You know what I mean? But too often players try to immediately go in that defensive posture because it used to work. It did used to work. I think the fields were a little bigger. There was more lanes, you know, teams made more mistakes, but now you don't win those points unless the other team like truly makes a mistake. Right.
Yeah.
It's so true. And it swaps too. It's vice versa.
Totally.
And then even, you know, things that happen with the middle, there's all these different ways that you can leverage yourself. It's kind of like hedging your bets on something and like, all right, we know this is bad, but we can still leverage this way and just kind of hope for the best. I have one of our followers, shout out to the PTG fam, who's always supporting us.
The PTG chat in the Discord has been going off lately. Major love to all you guys. You guys are awesome, and you've made that thing really fun for me. So I'm pumped. And actually, Tyler, that was all you on setting that up and making sure we had that. So for everyone that's getting active in there, we love the community. Thank you guys so much for being so awesome.
Hell yeah, dude, it's cracking today. So Stavi Beats wants us to ask you about the pressures of joining a pro team, you know, like Dynasty with an established core, and what expectations did you have that were met or were radically different or whatever there?
Yeah. There were no rookie expectations. You know, it was, you come here, you perform at our level, and you help us win. And so when I made some mistakes or, you know, maybe didn't play off a move correctly or apply pressure correctly, it was, hey, you're playing at this level. This is what you got to do here. Fix it now, or, you know, just
don't stay home.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. I mean, like, teams aren't picking up a guy to be a liability. They want you to be an asset. They want you to help the team win. And that's the expectation.
Yeah, and you're looking at becoming a number one. We want you stunting on people. So we definitely, you know, the hard wiring is in the process, and I'm just telling you from top to bottom of the organization from Dynasty, we're so excited to watch you develop. You're 25 years old. You're a young man. You know, we're 30, 31. You know, we're not too far past our prime.
Wait,
but
Ty,
we're
aren't you 32
not
now?
Promised. I'm 32. Yes, that's correct.
Dang.
That's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Just
so
had a
yesterday
birthday.
was my birthday.
Yeah.
Yep. Happy birthday to me. Yeah. And you know, we want to make sure that this organization continues to be strong, and we've got to nurture the future. And you know, if you're going to have a lineage like Dynasty, you got to make sure you're nurturing that future. So we're stoked to watch, you know, you develop and become that number one that's going to be out there holding trophies, you know what I mean? And helping clear the way for the rest of us to have an easy job.
and I felt that coming to this event. You know, I didn't want to just come here and do well for myself. I really wanted to build on the legacy that has already, you know, been built and to help Dynasty win. That's really what it's all about.
And there's so many people around the world that want that. We got to deliver.
Yeah,
absolutely. And there's so many people around the world that would give anything to be in position to help Dynasty win. You know, I know like that was one of the first things when I got on the team. I know, Tyler, we've talked about it. Same with you. It's like you get on a team like Dynasty, no matter where you've won before, what you've done previously, bringing a trophy home to the name on that chest is everything. That's the only thing, right? This team expects that. And it's the only thing that this organization has done for its 20 years of existence. So anything less is a total failure. And it does come with, you know, a certain level of pressure because the team has never known anything other than being a top team and a championship team. And, you know, with that pressure though, to me has always come a whole lot of motivation, you know, and a whole lot of, to me, it's honestly, it's a more of a privilege. It's something that really helps you become the best version of yourself. I like those expectations. And I think you're the same, Grayson. You know, I haven't seen you be shy from that yet, which is really good, you know. But yeah, it's an honor to wear the Dynasty name 100%. I know all three of us can say that.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah. G Hobbs as well. Another PTG question. And if you want to become a part of the Discord, you just got to join our community, it's on our website, ptgpodcast.com or ptgpaintball.com, and you can get dialed in there. He was wondering, how did you deal with being looked over by, you know, other pro teams and then ultimately to be picked up by Dynasty? How did that process go, and where was your head at through those times?
Yeah. You know, I've actually talked about this with Marcelo. You know, it was actually a matter of weeks before I got picked up. I was a little disappointed, you know. You put a lot of time and effort into something, and the ultimate goal of playing pro isn't being realized. And, you know, I think Marcelo had some good insight there. You know, don't blame these people or say these people are making a mistake. Play better so that they can't turn you down. You know, if you're that much of a threat, you're that much of an asset to any team, then at some point someone's going to recognize that. And so, yeah, I mean, it was really just about not being mopey and focusing in and still working. And, you know, they call luck, you know, kind of combination of skill meets opportunity, right? So at some point that opportunity came, and, you know, I worked hard enough to polish the skills to get my foot in the door.
Yeah.
How long have you been playing paintball? I just gotta, sorry.
No,
Yeah, sure.
I was going to touch on that.
I started a little bit later, you know, around like junior-ish year of high school, really getting into it. And then I'd say 2014 was my first full season.
Okay.
So
wow.
I wanted to put things into perspective. Exactly. Because, you know, Grayson, and I have had a few conversations over the last couple of years about, you know, which direction to go. And often you would reach out for a little bit of advice, and I'm happy that, honestly, it's an honor and makes me feel, you know, like I'm doing my job right when I can offer some advice that's similar to paths that we've all already gone through. Right. But the biggest thing was patience, you know. With you, I was so consistent in telling you that it's just patience. And I wanted to relate it to Mikey Urena, because you started going serious in 2014. Right. And for the last couple of years, you've been, you know, you have been overlooked by some teams, and I don't know if overlooks the right term, you know, maybe just not quite ready. And you were very sure of yourself that you're ready. And I understand how that is too. I've always felt like I'm ready. Even when I'm not ready, I feel like I'm ready. You know, I feel like having that kind of confidence definitely helps, you know. You got to be confident in the things that you do and in your preparation. But Mikey used to come out to Ironman practices in 2013, and he had already been chopping at the bit for a couple of years trying to find a pro team, and then in 2013 he comes out, and it was years of him being turned down and making these drives, you know, quite a few years, you know, until he finally got recognized, and you know, first went pro with Elevation, which, you know, a lot of people could argue that was hardly a pro organization at the time, even though they did come in and play pretty well at that first event. I got to give it to them. They just didn't have a great,
they made Sunday twice.
Remainder of the season. But it takes time, you know. And so for all the listeners, that's my point, is it takes time. And there really is a huge gap up from semi-pro to pro. There truly is. It's hard to see from the outside when you're just watching the game, because you're seeing two teams that are the same skill level, essentially, you know, in that range, playing against each other. So you don't really see it as much. But then when you go and play it, if you're a semi-pro player, you realize it and you feel it. And it just takes time and consistency, you know. And so sure enough, what's funny is a few weeks later, here you are on our team. right after telling you, be patient, or just wait for somebody to get injured, wait for the door to open.
Yeah, I mean, it happens, you know. It does.
But you know what, Grayson, you consistently put yourself in position to be recognized by our organization, coming out to our practices and maybe only getting a couple of points, but just being there, ready to play, not saying, I'm not getting much play time, I'm going to go do my own thing. You would come out, and whatever we would give you, you would take. And so honestly, that's what got you recognized by majority of the team, is the consistency, the effort, how hard you work on and off the field, your attitude, all of that stuff is what got your foot in the door, right? Your talent is something that we all feel we can work with, you know? And so that's so important for listeners, is all these other things are almost more important than your skill level when you're first trying to, you know, make it into an organization. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And a shout out to Victor Boa, threw in the big
shout
big
out.
phone call.
Big Vic. Big Vic. Yeah, his eyes lit up when your name was tossed into that hat, huh? I love it. That's good. It's good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean,
It's all family.
oh,
That's
sorry.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was especially in 2019, I think that's where we got to kind of consistently start practicing you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, even just stepping on the field, being across from you guys is, an honor, right? So like always trying to make the best of those opportunities and asking you guys questions, asking the coaches questions, and, trying to just be a sponge. If you're not playing, watching, just the kind of the tendencies, the teamwork, the communication, and just learning and growing from it.
And the
really-
honor's all ours too. Honestly, my favorite thing is playing against like the divisional players or the people that are someone that, I might not know, but like they want to play paintball, and it's like, yeah, let's learn. Let's make this. The only way that we're going to prosper in this is by doing things like that, like being really tight knit with the community. I know that's how it was for me when I was a kid, and it has to be that way. Otherwise, paintball will not be successful. We've got to make sure it's as tight knit as possible, and everything is turning and things are growing for this thing to truly be successful for many years to come. So it's an honor, dude, to run around and get shot up by anybody. Like that's the best.
Yeah, I don't know how much you guys got shot up, but
yeah. Still, dude, you'd be surprised. They got guns too. Guns too.
I mean, look, if we had a day where we lost 20 points, but you got that one or that two, I mean,
yeah,
you savor that.
Mm-hmm. And you learn a lot from losing. Like when I first went pro, got my butt, dude, just stomped. It was not like I'm gonna go to practice today and just dominate. Like that was never a thought in my head. I was like, bro, hopefully I don't get chicken winged out there today. Like, oh. But that's what me and Riley Sullivan, we would try to chicken wing as many people as we could, and we would count them up at the end of the day, see who had more stats.
More bunkerings. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So Grayson, dude, let's get into the fun stuff. How did you get into the game of paintball? What was your first experience like? I know you everybody knows the deal. Let's start with the beginning of your career.
Yeah, so when I was a super little kid, like kindergarten age, my brother was actually playing paintball pretty heavily.
Oh,
like,
what?
He had an autococker and stuff, and I didn't really get to watch much, but just like always seeing him tinkering with his guns and stopping by the paintball store. And then, when I was probably like 7 or so, he actually stopped playing. And so I knew about paintball. I'd been around it a little bit, but was too young to play when we could afford it still. Fast forward to when I'm in high school, one random Saturday or Sunday, my aunt's like, hey, let's just go play some paintball. And we're like, okay, cool. Yeah. I'm like, yeah. And I was totally nervous, but eager and excited. And
well, you got to tell us her name. She did all of this.
Oh, my Aunt Tamar.
Yeah. Aunt Tamar. Thank you.
Aunt Tamar. She actually, I don't know if she knows this even. She actually is probably responsible for me playing professional paintball to a degree. So
yeah, it's amazing.
Went out with my cousins and we just did like a little private group day, not a birthday party. I'm sorry.
Yep.
There you go. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. It was at Glenn Forrester's field, Warped Paintball. And yeah, I mean, like we had a blast. Like I was hooked instantly. We were on these big fields. I think the first point, one of my teammates shot me in the butt and I was like, oh, you son of a whatever. And then just got out there and thought we were playing Call of Duty or whatever and had a great time. And around then I wanted to keep playing. I wanted to go out there every weekend, and I would go with my cousins most of the time, and then they stopped playing. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just keep going by myself. And eventually, after showing up to the field enough, got on a team. I was actually with Mike O'Malley, who used to run the Rockstar team out in SoCal. If anybody knows.
Shout out to Mike. Let's go.
Mike O'Malley?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound familiar.
He used to run Rockstar Factory. They're like a 7-man team.
Yeah, I remember them. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, this was early.
Yeah, definitely. Like, this is years later. And so, you know, it was just learning how to slide and snap shoot at CPP over in the Valley. And at you know, a certain point, I kind of grew out of that and worked my way over to the ranch. And, you know, the ranch, Russ's Field, it's actually, he sold the property last year, 2 years ago. So it's not there anymore, but that's where I like first started playing X ball. And
Nice.
that was just a whole other game. Like, I mean, you know, you had guys showing up there on occasion, like Dalton and Mike Mesa and some other, you know, pros who were actually, you know, either recently on Dynasty or actively on Dynasty. And yeah, I definitely got worked a little bit. It was
Only
a
way to
whole
learn.
different pace. Yeah, but you know, and I think that's kind of the common theme is like, even if I had to go by myself, if I had to get my ass whooped a little bit, I just kept going. I couldn't get enough. And then, you know, in 2014, mostly played with, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Straight Shooters. It's
Heard
been
of them.
a team around here for like, I feel like almost 20 years. So, you know, played with those guys, and then we kind of broke off and did our own thing. And towards the end of the year, that's when we started LA Boom.
What year is this?
2014.
Okay, 2014.
Yeah, so that's when we started LA Boom, and it was Dave Moore, who at the time was on the D2 line. We had Luigi Piergolini, John Kazawa. We had like a pretty solid little throw together for a WCPPL at the end of the year, and we got destroyed. Like, it was like, I wasn't ready to be playing, you know, that division. And then it was just a mess, but whatever. It was a great time.
Well, what was the mess like? What was the downfall or whatever?
It was just nobody could stay alive long enough to make things happen. Right. It was just like, it was kind of like the squad. Everyone thought we would, you know, show up to WCPPL and just kind of smash people.
Yeah.
And not me, because it was like my first event playing in such a high division. I know I'm kind of skipping over this because there's like just a lot of small stuff, but
yeah,
we just got worked. Like, nobody played as a team. People were just getting dinked out of their spots. People couldn't live on the break. Some people got penalties. It was just a mess.
Yeah, we see that all day with like divisional. You know, don't let one bad thing be two bad things or three bad things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it happens all day.
Yeah. And that's why I'm kind of like skipping over. That was the first event where we made like a SoCal Boom team. But that was the start of something pretty great. So Dave Moore, at the beginning of 2015, we actually built out a whole organization out of SoCal. We had half a D2 team out here, half a D2 team out in the Midwest. We built out a D3 team. And then we also had, we built out a D4 team, which I got stuck on just because I was, you know, still pretty new and fresh, and I was a little salty. I was like, I want to at least play D3. Yeah. And he's like, hey man, just be patient. Just keep working.
Just be patient.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. So some of the pro Boom guys, for the people who don't know, NRG Elite used to be a pro team out of Wisconsin called Boom, run by Chris Jansen. And the organization at some point had like 6 teams, from pro, D2, several D3, several D4 teams, just a lot of people, some folks in Colorado, the Midwest, and then we had usually about 3 teams out in SoCal. And so that year, you know, I played on the D4 team, and it was just getting better and better. And we got to actually put in a line for a D3 event about halfway through. And that's where, you know, Dave was saying like, hey man, like, you're starting to progress, just keep working. And he would have these awesome practice days at SC Village. Like, he would just do drills that no one out here in SoCal were doing, like just snap shooting at each other, or snap shooting targets, landing drills, running and gunning, situationals. a lot of people at that point just either wanted to play points or they didn't even want to play. It was kind of interesting. So he really built out an organization around here, just trying to check the ego at the door, work hard, and just, just be good teammates to each other and help each other get better.
So important, man.
Yeah.
So
we had kind of like a so-so year in D4. Like we got a couple third places here and there. We got crapped on here and there. It's just whatever. And then the next year, myself and one other guy, we were kind of the foundation for a D3 team. And we built out like a pretty stellar D3 team that actually, we kind of kept it around for a while. And the next year we had a pretty successful year in WCPPL. We were series contenders, got a couple top fours, and at the last event that year we did really bad. We went 1-3, and so our series contention kind of dropped. But again, it was continuing kind of the story, just keep working, keep grinding, help each other get better. And again, we had like 2 or 3 teams all practicing together, all helping each other out. And at the end of the year,
that was 2016. Oh, that's 15. Okay.
Oh no, sorry, that was 16. My bad. Yeah,
okay.
That was 2016. And at the end of the year, we went to go play Cup as a D2 line because Dave unfortunately got cut from the pro team and was trying to build out a squad. So we had some decent players. We had Alex Keys, who is now on the Pro Aftermath team. We had, some of the other D3 guys, who were pretty competitive. And we had a Rocky event,
What's the name of this team?
This was LA Boom.
LA Boom. And then in 2015, 16, what was the name of that team?
It was still LA Boom.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, sorry if I'm missing.
No, I just want to make sure that I know exactly what team it was. So LA Boom, how long was that organization around for?
So we actually had that team from the end of 2014 until the beginning of 2018, where we churned into California Elite. So it was still the same organization, still the same people, but there were some sponsorship conflicts that, when you have a camp with 30, 40 people and they're paying their own way and they're unhappy with some sponsors, you got to make some shifts. And Victor was putting a lot of time and energy into Arizona Elite, who were strong competitors of ours. But he thought people were taking the opportunity for granted. He was helping them out a lot, scheduling practices and scheduling a lot of drill sessions and really trying to make sure that the team is successful with paint and field time and everything that they need, agility drills. And he felt that they were taking it for granted. So he said, you know what, I'm going
to stop you right here. Victor is the fucking man. I mean, this guy is the man. He without him on Dynasty, it's a completely different team. I'm just going to put that right there. What he provides, and he's always going to be going above and beyond to help. But by God, you better be doing your job at the highest of your ability. You know what I mean? Don't take it for granted, like you're saying. And especially at like in divisional, we're talking about here. That's unheard of. You know what I mean? So really at that level, you got to be like 100 million trillion% going all in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, Vic would give anyone anything that they needed to succeed. He really tried his best and put a lot of energy and effort and, took away time from his family to, build out a successful organization. And he values all of that, right? He values his time, his family, and he really loves paintball. So there's a guy, trying to make the most of his time at the field and wants to have a hardworking, successful team, don't take it for granted.
That's it.
Yeah. So, so at the beginning of 2018, we were having to bump up to semi-pro because, the team again got some third places in D2. some top 4 finishes. And, you know, we ranked out of that division, just had too many guys with that ranking. So we're building out a semi-pro team. Victor wants a semi-pro team that's going to be working hard and, you know, appreciate what he does and utilize his resources to win and do well.
Exactly. He'll
And
give you
so-
what you need to win. You can't come up short. You know, you have to do your part as well.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, we grabbed 2 Arizona elite players, a few of the LA Boom players, and then did some tryouts and had a pretty full, you know, good team. Our first semi-pro event at Vegas 2018, we made Sunday and got knocked out by Hawaiian Heat, who actually had GJ Sakaguchi at the time. Little shout out to him.
Nice.
Yep.
And then the next event, we actually had Scotty Kemp coaching us, and we did really bad, unfortunately.
Oh no, Scotty.
You know, I don't really think it was Scotty. It just wasn't really, just people didn't show up, right? So going into that event, actually, I was in kind of a weird spot because we had 10 people practicing, but we only wanted to bring 8. And Victor calls me at the end of the second layout practice and he's like, "Hey man, how do you feel?" And I'm like, "Well, you know, I don't feel great, but I feel pretty good because we practice at one point that weekend, we practiced a few points against you guys, and we played Ironman for a little bit, and I think the Campy Raiders. And, you know, like the points that we won against the pro teams, I thought I had an influence. So, you know, like could have played better, but felt good overall and felt like I was at a decent spot. And he pretty much said that I was not going to make the roster. And I don't know, we worked it out where I had my flight already and everything. I was going to go and I was the 8th man. I show up at that Thursday practice and Skimp is just using me on both sides of the field and I'm just bunkering people left and right, like showing up. Right. And it was really motivation for me because the team didn't think I was good enough for that event. And, you know, were maybe rocky about me in that division. And that was my breakout event in high level paintball, I would say. It was Dallas 2018.
What do you think clicked that what was it that at that event you performed that way?
I think that event, I was playing really aggressive and listening to my gut. I was just, you know, just making my way up the D side, up the snake side, left and right. My timing was just clicking. I was just able to get in a position and shoot people or bunker people. And at the same time, not trying to overextend, not trying to get into a spot and pop over the top and left and right and center and dive when there's a wall of paint right there. Like it was just playing the game, honestly.
Let's go.
There we go.
Let them know, dude.
I love that.
I think that's the best way I could describe it. I was just, you know, going out there, not being frantic, just getting in a spot, making moves when the moves were open or putting people in and, you know, getting some slam dunks when the time came.
That's it. And,
yeah,
you know, obviously that is the bread and butter right there is the timing. The timing is everything. And the awareness, obviously, once you have all the good information, you can make really good decisions. But that also comes from asking good questions. There's so many different things that you can do out there that like these micro adjustments that'll set you on a path for success, or maybe, you know, not as successful on that point as you could have been. But it's just trial and error, like you said, man. You know, it's there was years that maybe things weren't going the way that you had planned them, but you just keep trying and you keep applying yourself. And then, you know, good opportunities are going to come from that. So let's just keep diving into this tournament. Talk to me more about 18. What's going on here?
Yeah, so Dallas 2018, it's a, a total mud fest. And
Yeah.
ironically, the event that I, have like a breakout semi-pro event, the rest of the team is really struggling. Um,
Mhm.
we played San Diego Aftermath, and that was the year that they earned their semi-pro spot. And I was in the 50 snake every point. But then almost every point I was the last guy left. So it just, it was unfortunate the way it worked out. Just we weren't clicking, we weren't staying alive, and we weren't an even attack. Like our guy would get up the snake, and instead of our D side guy kind of flying down and playing off of that, we would just get dinked out of the spots, and we couldn't close. That was, I think, the biggest struggle.
This is a huge talking point right here. This is like, I think every team or person on a team listening goes through this or has gone through this. And I think the way that you solve that really is I always, like, before each point, I want to know the intention of every player on the field. I want to know what he's doing. I want to know what he's doing. I want to know what he's doing. What's everyone doing? Most of the time we all think about ourselves, like, and it's a lot for even us in our moves to think about, okay, what am I going to do? What am I doing thinking about everybody else over here when I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to get up this field. But we have to do that. Otherwise, you'll get players out of place. Like you're saying, you were too far up and people are maybe not set properly, and like just the wrong things are happening because everyone doesn't know the intention of the other players. And that happens a lot, man.
Yeah. And it, looking back on it, it seems a little similar to some of the struggles we had at the last event where we would get good position and we just couldn't work together to close it out at some point. So, it was annoying. But for me, like, I walked away from that weekend like, okay, it sucked to lose. It was annoying. It was really frustrating, but at least I built definitely a layer of inner confidence. Like, I can play ball, like these guys wanted to cut me, and then I ended up playing every point. So
hell yeah. There we go.
And so, and then, we played the next event. We skipped Atlantic City that year just because it was just expensive to go out there, and the team was on kind of like a weird spot. Victor wasn't happy because he was giving us these resources and giving us what we needed to succeed, but we weren't living up to it. I mean, honestly, that's what it was. So again, we go and we play D2 at WCPPL, and I think I had a pretty good event. Like, I was getting some 4 and 5 packs from the snake, but again, if I didn't go down the snake and shoot everyone, a lot of times we just wouldn't win the point. It was just people not clicking, not working together. Another frustrating event. I actually had to break up a fight in our pit in the middle of the match.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, luckily fists weren't thrown, but it was getting a little spicy. And so that event just whatever. And then the next event, we go into Chicago 2018, and we went out there with 6 guys. We were just like, okay, we had this core right here. Let's just go out here and play ball. The first day we played Brawl. No, it was they're also out of the East Coast. What are their names? Whatever.
They're all brawlers. The East Coasters are all brawlers.
No, Brawl's a team from over there.
They weren't playing that division yet.
Okay.
It was an East Coast team
The
around
Bears?
that area. No.
The Bears.
The Bears.
Oh, Nasty. That's what it was.
Nasty.
It was Baltimore
Okay,
Nasty.
there we go.
Yeah.
How you gonna forget Nasty? Come on, man. Nasty.
So we played Nasty, and it was a really back and forth game on that, car crash field. And as we were about to, I think we had the momentum, and we got a really bad major penalty. And it was a major penalty that kind of just swung the match the other way, and we didn't close it out. So, okay, like a good start, right? Like we had some good moments, but come on, let's tighten up a little bit. So then we go and play a strong NRG Elite, which is now a pro team. And first point, we get, a BS penalty. I remember I dove into the snake completely clean, and then like 30 seconds later, the ref just comes in and just pulls a minor. I'm like, okay, that was weird. There's not even paint on me, but all right.
Yep.
And
That happened to
then
me this
we
weekend.
made it.
Weird.
Yeah. Sounds familiar.
Yeah, sounds familiar.
And then we tie up the game, and I think the point we were about to get the lead, I think this is actually on video. Our guy got friendly fired in the back of the head.
Nice.
And ends up getting a major penalty.
Do you keep playing?
So, yeah.
Yeah.
He said he asked for a check.
Okay.
But one ref called him clean, one ref gave him a major.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think it was like a 2-1 game. Like it was a really tight match, or maybe a 3-1, and we made it 3-2. But again, just that major penalty cost us the game.
Go figure.
Going to the next day, and and we play the Wild Dogs, which are always an interesting match.
Dude, my favorite. My favorite.
Yeah.
I love the Wild
crazy.
Dogs. Yeah.
They can put up points. I just usually they'll give you a back and forth game, and then you'll see birds, yellow and blue, yellow and red birds just start flying at a certain point. That's literally what was happening. Like we had a back and forth game, and then we would dive into our spots, and the point would be over because it got a major. It was like, it was crazy. And then so we won that game, and then we played Toronto Chargers, and we won that game. But I think we missed the Sunday cut by 2 points. So, it was an improvement, but just not good enough. And then we go into the next event at World Cup, and we play Seattle Cartel, which is like a WCPBL team. And again, the team just started off rocky. Like there was one point where I started 1-on-5 because I was the only person ready. And just everyone's just like a mess. And I think I shot.
Go get him, Grayson.
So that game was a mess. And then we played Aftermath, and that was a really tight game. I think that was like a 1-point game. And I think they just outplayed us on 1 or 2 points that and they just grinded the other time, because the points that we won, it took a long time to beat them. The points that they won, it was fast. So, okay, we're starting off another event 0-2, and it's win or go home, right? So we play DMG, and at the time they had Ben Challenger and Dylan and Jordan Boyum and George McLean. So all those guys are pro now. So it was a pretty competitive semi-pro team, and I think they had a successful first day, and we win that match. It was like a really tight game, like a 2-1 game. The 1 point that we lost, I trade out with Ben to make it a 2-on-1, and then our guy got a penalty trading out with someone else. So that was the point that they won. And then
it's been fun to watch Ben, just to hit on Ben Challenger. He's been chomping at the bit. I mean, I remember being a kid, like young pro, and seeing little Ben, you know what I mean? Like baby Ben. He's still a baby right now, but he was even like half the size, And
he was out in SoCal back then, like coming to SC Village with LA Collision.
Yeah. I really appreciate his journey. Do you know how old he is?
I think he's a tiny bit younger than me. I think he's 24.
Cool.
Or 25.
Yeah. See, he's like, you guys, these people we're talking about, they're the next generation, like that I hope will be having a show like what we're, like we need more Bens in the world, because he's just got a great heart for the game. You can tell he's passionate, and I hope that that he'll continue the legacy that, as we pass the torch down and down and down through generations, just making sure that we have good people like that dude out there playing paintball.
Oh, definitely. I mean, he's
Ben's
always
the man.
just in such good spirits.
Yeah.
We had a pretty fun time in Australia.
There,
Grayson, you, Ben, and I, after one of the events, went to a super nice dinner. My goodness, what was the name of that restaurant? I forget.
I just remember it was like the fanciest Chinese food restaurant.
Yeah, 100%. In like
really
all,
good.
it was one of the most expensive restaurants in Sydney. It was insane. It was so worth it. I want to say it was like,
and it was Chinese food.
Yeah,
so
dude,
good.
it was so good.
Yeah.
Chinese food over in
It was like
Australia is
high-end
off the
Chinese food.
chain too.
Woo! Let's go.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, Ben's the man.
Yeah.
I got to play a full season with him over in Australia with Crisis, and he's just a fantastic player, you know. And like you said, Tyler, he has a massive heart for the game, and so it's awesome to see him succeeding over here in the U.S. now. He's been chasing the dream for a long time. So,
Yep, big ups.
Yeah, no, that's a guy you could use that theme, patience, too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was
yep,
doing everything he could to put his name out there, and at a certain point, it paid off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. So we're in. Did we finish 2018 and we're in 19?
We're still in semi-pro.
The last tidbit.
Yeah.
Last tidbit for 2018. We win our 2 games. We make it to Sunday, and we have Indianapolis Mutiny. So, you know, almost every event we're playing.
That was
the
crazy.
Contenders for the series. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, we go up 1-0. It was a long 5-minute point, and we actually almost grinded down 10 minutes in the second point. I trade out with Brian Smith, and I think it's like we almost grinded out the whole thing, and it was a 2-on-2, and there was a friendly fire incident. Luckily, no penalty, but there's a friendly fire incident, so it's a 1-1 match, and there's about a minute and a half left, and we had a great breakout. We had this like game plan where we pretty much went to the 50 Dorito off the break. We got 2 kills on the break, and the 2 on our Dorito side bunkered out our guy out of the 50 Dorito and got shot.
Nice.
So it was
Way
like
nice.
total worst case scenario. Yeah. We're about to knock Mutiny out of the tournament, and
yeah, he was working.
Worst case scenario happens. Yeah, it goes from 5-on-3 with great position to 3-on-3, and then we ended up going to overtime, and you know they won the overtime point.
Oh
unfortunately.
man,
So
that's brutal. But little did you know, he got paid a brand new gun after that tournament. Y'all didn't even know. No, I'm just joking. The guy who bunkered you guys. Oh yeah, man, that's brutal.
Yeah, that was a rough night.
Yeah. Anytime things. So how can we make sure that never happens? Why, you know, this guy's got to connect. You got to really never. That's like I was telling you in Florida, green lights. We don't go on the orange, yellow lights. We don't go on red lights. Obviously it's green lights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you're going and smoking down your own player and then getting shot, it's like, dude, we need green light, man. Did you have the green light? No. Ask a good question so we can find the information.
With that one.
Real quick. The first thing that should ever happen when you have a 5-on-3 is you should have some sort of code where everybody stops doing whatever the hell they're doing and you all connect across the board. You know, it's G2. Okay. Hey, find the bodies. Let's find all of our guys, find all of their guys. We have the bodies to do it. So that's like, you know, we've even implemented that before where as soon as it's G2, everyone stops what they're doing. You get on the same page, you know, and don't take that too literally. You don't like come off your zone and stop looking at the bad guys, but you make it a priority to immediately connect and find out where everyone's at, because you need to now make a new game plan to close out the match. Right.
That's priority number one. Yeah.
It's just, that's communication. And so that's the issue. And that's, you know, inexperienced teams suffer from that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right. I think it probably would have helped in this situation. The weird part is our guy in the 50 Dorito was on our side of the bunker.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you fix that.
It's tough.
You know, so yeah, I mean, and then Mutiny goes on to win World Cup. They miss earning a pro spot by a fraction of a point.
I know, that was crazy, man. Oh man, that was so crazy. I remember that time frame. It was nuts. People were going wild.
Yeah, and you know, it was so sour to go out of World Cup literally shooting yourselves to knock yourselves out.
Brutal.
But positivity in there, like, okay, we know we can contend in this division. Like, what do we have to do to just keep that momentum going? And you know, again, Victor coming through, he's like, hey man, like this team, we want to do well, we got to work hard. So we had started the 2019 season off with the grinder of the season, it was Hell Weekend in Arizona with Rusty Glaze, and Marcelo came out too.
Mm-hmm.
And, we had our whole team out there and some, lower divisional guys that we were building up. And man, Vic, he put us through the grind. I mean, we started off the morning with like 3 or 4 hours of agility drills and ladder drills and sprints and stuff. And then Marcelo and Rusty took over, and we did a lot of situationals and stuff like that. And then we finished off the day with a little Marcelo workout. That was
indeed we did.
It was interesting. So we had 15 guys in a line, and Marcelo, being the drill sergeant, is like, all right, well, you're either doing squats, sit-ups, or push-ups on my command, or jumping jacks.
Hold on. So the first thing I ask is, I set up a target that's like 15 feet away from your bunker, like super close. And I say, you guys think it's pretty easy to snap shoot this and hit it with one ball each hand? And typically everyone is always like, yeah, duh, that's super easy. I do this with quite a few of our practices. I just got it. That's like a highlight of this. Okay, carry on.
Yeah. So we're already, like, half the guys are already broken, like a lot of the guys aren't conditioned for a long day like this. I'm luckily, like, down the street from here, I had a CrossFit gym that I was going to. So it sucked, but I was conditioned. So I was ready for it. But yeah, we have 15 guys in a line, and one at a time, you have to run from gate to gate on the field. And when you come back, you got to shoot the target with one ball. And if you miss, you got to run back and forth and do it again. And, so we're all on a line, 15 people waiting for their turn. And as every person goes, like, we're still all doing this workout. And so towards the end, one of our teammates actually missed a couple times in a row. Marcelo just pulled him out of the rotation because we were ready to kill him.
That was like one of the first time to this day. I mean, I've had people go like 12, 15 times, no joke. And everyone's like, dude, what the hell, you're killing us. Because while they're running back and forth, everyone is going through a series of exercises, whether it's, squats, push-ups, bicycles, jumping jacks, planks. Like, I will just rotate everyone that's waiting through a series of different workouts until all 15 go, or however many people are on the team, go through this process.
Yeah.
It's exhausting, but the whole point of it is to be able to, because you're somewhat under pressure, right? Because everyone wants you to hit those shots. You got to snap shoot with your right, snap shoot with your left. So you're under pressure and you're exhausted to hit what should be an otherwise very easy shot, right? And that trains not only your physical abilities, but your mind. And I love doing this drill at the end of team practices because it's exhausting. It pushes you to your limits. And again, there's like that little bit of pressure that kind of conditions you for that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, and in the back of your head, you're like, I can't miss.
Yeah,
There's
sure.
14 other guys just ready to kill you if you do.
Yeah.
And
realize how many people miss too.
This was a grind over practice. I mean, we started at 7, and this is 4 or 5 o'clock nonstop, small breaks. Some dudes are puking. Vic was really just trying to show us, like, hey man, like, you guys got to work hard if you want to do well. I mean, that's really what he was setting us up for. And so, yeah, all 15 guys go through. We have a nice dinner. And the guy who missed actually wanted to quit paintball that night. He was like, I want to go back home to California.
No.
I want to leave. He's like, he was over it. He's like, I don't
Marcelo,
want to
you ruined him.
Yeah. This is only day 1 of 2, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the next day, we did a couple hours of workout. We did some 5-on-5s. We did some more situational stuff. Wasn't as brutal, but still a good long day. A great weekend though, like I think those experiences, those hell weeks are so great for team building because you're all going through it together.
Mm-hmm.
And you're only as strong as your weakest link, and everyone is motivating each other and everyone's being competitive at the same time. You want to stand out, you want to be the best, but you also want everyone to succeed and get better.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's great for teams. Really.
Absolutely.
That kind of setup.
Yeah. I mean, that hell week,
every team.
Yeah, that hell week we did before World Cup, that third weekend out in Arizona that was ran by Vic and Rusty. To me, that's a large part in, us winning the World Cup. Without that weekend, I don't believe we win World Cup. I truly don't. I don't think we would have been ready. I don't think we would have built up the grit equity. Shout out to the hats one time for the YouTubers. We finally got these in stock. These things are so sick.
Let's go.
Yeah, major shout out. Sorry for the shameless plug, but without that, I truly don't think that we put ourselves in position to win that event. Doing that with your team, like you said, Grayson, with everyone around you, it solidifies everyone's dedication and what they're willing to do for the common goal, for what you're trying to go out and do, which is win a tournament at the highest levels or any level, whatever division you are. And teams that do that stuff are likely to come out on top. It's the only way I've ever known. And I've been a part of a lot of successful teams. Tyler, you as well. We've won from the very start of our careers. And the one common thing is the amount of work that is put in by the whole group, not just one or two players on the team. If you have just one or two players on the team doing more than the others, you're not going to get very far. When you have the whole organization buying into that kind of process, it's really hard to stop. You're not always going to win. It might take some time because you just might not be good enough yet. But if you stay with that mindset and that process, you are going to be on top, holding the trophy, being a champion. And it's probably going to come sooner than you think. You just got to stay dedicated. You need a group of people that are dedicated to that as well.
Yeah. And the Hell Week is so good for bringing everyone together.
Yeah.
Like you guys said, it tests everyone. Everyone has to kind of lean on each other. You come closer together. Everybody has a different type of respect for each other too. And or it shows you who's not there to actually grit it out, or who's not there really truly wholeheartedly invested. And for better or for worse, whatever, I don't really like to throw things into judgment or anything like that. It just is what it is. Whatever it is what it's going to be. And then we can move forward with that and have a direction. But without those kind of training regiments, Hell Weeks, things that really test people, you don't even know where you're standing with everybody. You've got to implement that. If you're not doing that with your team, you've got to have at least a weekend, 2 weekends where you guys are like, all right, get ready. This is going to be a good one. You guys are going to feel this for a few days after, and we're going to see what everyone's got,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where, you're doing the morning stretch after day 1 or 2 and everyone just moaning and groaning, but you're all doing it together, right? Yeah. There's something in that.
Yeah. And paintball is so difficult. I mean, if you're not ready for Sunday, all that paintball, you can't win.
You know what I realized though, Ty?
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I realized? And this is straight up, I'm putting this out there. We say that paintball is so hard on the body so frequently, because it is. It is definitely a physically demanding sport. After playing on Arturo's grass, I think if we always played on that, it might not be that physically demanding, dude. I mean, I felt like I could go forever. Like, you still get a little winded, I guess, but it's not the same. Like, some weekends, especially now, I Monday morning, I feel broken. I'm like, man, am I really just getting that old? Or no, actually, it's because you're slamming your body into concrete, and that can't be good for you. So dang it, we need to do something to get. I got to give a little shout out to Damien as well.
Oh yeah,
that field looks pristine. That he's working on. I don't know how much involvement he has in it, but he posted about it. It's in Kansas, I believe, and I forget the name, so I apologize. But wow, that looks amazing. That's what I love to see. And I know Giovanni's doing a good job of trying to open up these arenas as well. He's talking to us about that. More fields that can just offer a pristine experience like that. It's only going to help the sport grow. So I just can't wait to see that continue. We need some good fields like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, professional fields for professional
100%.
players, right?
Yeah, and it's like the turf at Camp Pendleton, now Victory Paintball Park, ever since Fran took over, I mean, it's night and day difference, and so all you got to do is just take care of your stuff a little bit, and you're going to provide a way better experience for the players, So,
yeah.
A little plug for Victory. I mean, he turned that place around.
Oh, big time.
Absolutely.
That place used to tear through all your pads, all your pans. I know guys who have, permanent injuries from Camp Pendleton, and
I'm permanently injured.
Changed that place.
from the devil's carpet, dude.
We used to call it El Diablo's carpet, man. That was to take you out.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
amazing.
He turned that place around completely.
Totally.
He loves what he does, and it shows.
Indeed.
gotta
So damn.
care.
Yeah. Sorry, Grayson. Where were we with you? We were at that
We're,
practice.
we're pretty much talking about a little plug for G2 paintball.
Okay.
I
Yep.
think that was kind of G2 in its infancy, and
Yeah, it
I think
was.
you made a good point about being Sunday ready.
Yeah.
Look, that's what Vic's training and Rusty are really trying to do at G2. They're trying to get you physically to a point where you're on Sunday, you've already played a lot of paintball, maybe your body hurts, but in all that, you still got to perform at 110%. So shout out to G2 paintball. That's what they're all about.
Yes.
The only
Be
time
on
you
the
can-
lookout.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to be doing some more events. I think they're going to be ramping up here pretty soon. So I'm excited about that. We actually have some cool giveaways going on too. I guess this is a good time to talk about it. Just for the listeners, you could check out the YouTube really quick. We have these PTG cards that are signed by Tyler and myself as usual, but they're also signed by Victor Gamboa. And we're going to be doing an awesome giveaway. There's only 10 of these and they're all numbered. And so if you pick up any PTG product, anything from us, we will send one of these cards, and then we're going to do a drawing once all 10 of them are delivered. And there will be one lucky winner that gets a pretty cool prize that we're collabing with G2 Paintball to put together. So yeah, thank you, Grayson, for kind of the opportunity to talk about that with G2.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the importance of something like G2. I always talk about it in our clinics. You can only win at the end of the event, at the end of the day, Sunday afternoon, when everybody's exhausted. You've already played, 6-7 matches. That's the only time you could actually win a tournament. You can't win in the prelims. You can't win the first game when you're fresh, so you need to be at your best in those moments. Otherwise, what's it for? What are you going to be able to do? You're just hoping that the other team is more fatigued than you are, and so it's crucial to make sure you're prepared physically.
Yeah, 100%. That's I highly recommend. I mean, I go to the G2 clinics, so
yeah,
I can
Mike,
only
you both
recommend them. Yeah, we did one together in August in that Arizona heat. Tyler was there.
Yes, sir. Yep, that was an amazing one. G2 it's revolutionary for what it can do to train paintball players to be better athletes at paintball. Like all of these fundamental movements that you do, obviously the processing of information as well. We get into that, but it's just like you've got to be ready as an athlete to do what you need to do on Sunday evening, because it is typically like around 3, 4 sometimes or whatever. But you've got to be ready for that moment when the sun is setting and you're ready to hold the trophy. You got to be ready 100%. And that's what G2 Paintball does. So we can't wait to do some more of those events. I know that Victor is very excited about that. And he's hungry too. He's ready to push people and make people better paintball players.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So Grayson, you've got a lot of fans actually. I've actually had quite a few people slide in the DM saying, as soon as you got on the team, you guys got to get Grayson on the podcast. You've done a good job of marketing yourself and, having a presence on social media. Let's talk about that for a second. How much time and effort do you put into, that, your brand, and how important do you think it is?
I mean, honestly, that opened up a lot of opportunities to travel all around the world. I think it's super important. Following people like you and Ronnie Dizon, and I think it was Jesse Stevens. He talked about really just building your brand as an athlete, and building a foundation, because I think it's really important to get your name out there, and it's not just for sponsorship and stuff like that. It's really just about like kind of creating a more of a community and everyone kind of collaborating together and really sharing experiences and people, living vicariously through good players a little bit here and there. So in that 2018 season, I got myself a GoPro like kind of halfway through. And it was really because of Ronnie Dizon posting his raw footage. And I didn't get it to post it. I got it so I could, watch things frame by frame and break down footage and get better. And at the end of that year, I just started posting on Instagram. Like I never even used Instagram before that. And, I guess, people just really enjoyed it, and people all around the world started watching it. And through building that brand and consistently putting out content, I think consistency is really key. Not just for always providing your fans stuff, but also on the platform's consistency. It helps grow your base. It puts your content out to a wider audience if you're consistently making more stuff. Just building that brand. I started going to events and people recognized me. Pro players were watching the videos. It got me invited to go play in Australia with Ronnie Dizon. It got me invited to go play in Europe, which I unfortunately wasn't able to follow through with, but I think it's super important.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. And it also brings a lot of awareness to the sport for, people that don't know what paintball is, and to me, that's a huge part of it as well.
Yeah. There's a ton of friends and family who are like, wow, that's what you do. Yeah. Just them being able to see it.
It's everything. There is nothing more important in the modern day that we live in than doing stuff like what you're doing, putting on a show, anything you can do to have consistent content. Because you're right, there's an algorithm that's at play as well that'll boost you and get you viewed by more, is everything. You have to be doing it in this modern day and age. Otherwise you're not going to get the opportunities like you just talked about. You're not going to grow your brand. You're not going to be able to open those doors unless you have the platforms established to do that. And, it's, obviously we want people to see, we got our egos and we're like, yeah, look at how sweet this is, but it's bigger than that. It's about the love of the game. It's about pushing paintball forward. So we need everybody to get on board and start creating paintball content immediately. Everybody, just because it's going to help this whole machine move into the future with some power here.
Yeah. I mean, there's people who have never really seen paintball or whatever. They see, like action shots, or they see GoPro footage and all that stuff. They see the podcast, and it, I think, brings more legitimacy to the sport as well, because, hey, I mean, content are what all these other things have. There's gaming content and sports content 24/7. So, more is more. And, you want to talk about sponsorship. How do you bring value to sponsors? There's no such thing as a free lunch. Like, hey, I have this video, I get X amount of views, I get all these shares. And then you have objective measures for sponsors to be like, okay, well, I can sell more product because you have this fan base.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. Yeah.
Definitely helps.
Absolutely. Especially in paintball, right? Not only do we need to go out and perform, but you're right. At the end of the day, that's what the sponsors are looking for. They want to be able to sell their product, and so you need to represent something that they want to put their name, they want to attach their name to. So, building your brand and the type of image that you present is also a very important thing. That's why I always, when you talk to the younger kids, it's, don't be a jerk, don't be a punk, be humble, be a hard worker. And showcase those attributes, and be a good person. That's the type of person that a company is going to want to get involved with. And that's going to help you build an actual career out of this game of paintball that, a few of us are trying to pursue full time, which does lead me into my next question, actually, Grayson, which is, what exactly is it you're trying to get out of paintball? Where do you see yourself in 5 years with this sport? Like, what are your goals within the game?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't, want to just get on a pro team just so I can say I'm a pro player. I want to go out there and I want to be one of the best. That's really the goal. My goal is to be an elite player like you guys. And that's ultimately.
Oh, bro, we're still working on it too, doggy. Like it's an everyday progression over. Marcelo and myself have been playing professionally for a long time, but it's a never ending process. And I think that's the beauty of it all, right? That's where the magic's at in that statement right there.
When you stop trying to get better, the game passes you a little bit and your skill set declines. And that's the end of your career, essentially, right? If you don't continuously try to learn and get better and push yourself, the same as you did when you first got into it, the sport will pass you by. And so it is a constant, never ending, evolution. That's also partially because the game is constantly evolving as well. There's new strategies that come into play, different, every couple of years, the fields are changed. Some of the rules might be changed. So you got to stay on top of learning and dissecting and being hungry and evaluating and being introspective about, your shortcomings and your strengths. And as soon as you stop doing that, man, it's a wrap. That's when it's time to retire, hang it up, tie the shoelaces together, and throw those cleats over the electrical wires.
Yeah. Dude, do you guys remember True Semi? Holy shit.
Dude, I was just talking.
I didn't get to do that.
I mean, True Semi took down the PSP. Dude, it took down the PSP. There was already the NXL lurking in the back. They wanted to form this new league. The PSP was doing great things, had a lot of great stuff. We showed up to that event in Dallas, and it was a mix between how rainy it was and the True Semi. That was a bad decision. Major shout out to Dave Youngblood. I think he's done more for the sport of professional paintball for sure than just about anybody in the game. Honestly, he used to sacrifice a lot to give us, PBA and run good professional events. That was a bad decision. The True Semi was miserable to play. You would pull the trigger and a ball would not come out. That should never happen. I understand not wanting there to be
I didn't even know that.
Because you had to time it perfectly so that it would be one ball every second. Or 10 balls every second. But within that 1 second, each pull would have to be evenly displaced, from each other within that 1 second. So if you were off rhythm a little bit, then it wouldn't click. It wouldn't register. It was horrible. You would walk the trigger, you'd come out and shoot, and a ball wouldn't come out when you pull the trigger. You literally had to sit there and try to time it. It was really bad. It was really, really bad.
Might as well just use a mech gun at that point.
Yeah, I would have rather because you pull the trigger, something's going to come out. I don't care if it's slow, but when I pull the trigger, I can't have a ball not come out.
It was crazy. It had me questioning how much longer I was going to be playing. I was like, this is it's True Semi. That's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God that we have, you can pull the trigger and get paintballs out these days. So that's a beautiful thing.
That's a great
appreciative of that.
Yeah. Yeah, but shoot, how did that little tangent start? I don't even know.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. So we are in 2019, right?
Yeah.
Right before the pandemic. So what happened before everything shut down?
Yeah. I'll run through these events kind of briefly. Vegas 2019. Coming into it, we thought we had some good momentum. We had a decent showing the last two events, and we just want to build on it and get even better. Unfortunately, one of our core members was having a baby, so we couldn't make it. And then the Sunday before the event, our other core back player broke his ankle. It was it was kind of like a freak thing at the field.
It was fortunate for the baby, though. Unfortunate for the team.
Two separate players.
No, I know, but it was fortunate that the baby was born. It was just unfortunate for the team. I see.
Yeah.
Because you said, unfortunately, this guy had a baby.
Great for him. You're right. No, great for him. Great for the baby.
What a shame. Damn it.
Yeah, baby. Get out of here, baby.
Trying to have a family. Whatever. It was like a freak accident. We're unfortunately at Camp Pendleton, and it had rained, and he literally took a couple steps from the back center to the next bunker over, slipped, landed flat on his foot, and just shattered his ankle. Freak accident. Nothing to do with the field, just was walking. And then going into that event, some of the guys who weren't core players had a little too much fun in Vegas. I think that was a contribution. You have a little too much fun in Vegas, you're missing some core players, and
it's funny that Vegas event's you've got the forbidden fruit right down the street. You got to stay focused.
Yeah, some people bit the apple. Unfortunately. That event, awful. Going into the next event, The guy with the broken ankle was still out, but he was there helping. The guy who had the baby, fortunately, was there. And had some close games, but then another crappy event. We went 1-3. Going into Philly, we really practice hard. I don't remember if we practiced you guys both weekends. I know at least we practiced you guys one weekend, and you know it was a grinder. It was, you know, start around 8:39, start off with drills against each other, and we played until we had no paint left, like 5 o'clock. It was a grinder of a couple weekends. And we went and we had a really strong prelims at Philly, and we went 3 wins and 1 tie, and we got the buy into the quarters, and we had to play against the Tauntauns, which, you know, hey, we were ready for the challenge, but it was a strong looking Tauntauns, and they unfortunately knocked us out. We were actually the only team to put a point on them. I think we put 1 or 2 points on them, and then they just mercy rolled everyone else and won the tournament. Chicago that year, you know, some people had some forbidden fruit. Again, you know, a little too much fun. And it
Dude,
showed.
you got some party rockers. They're ready to rage.
The weird thing is, you know, people get a decent amount of sleep, but
drunk sleep, that ain't gonna do nothing for you.
You get what you put into it. If you show up and you're trying to have a good time, you know, I think it will show on the field. Where if you're showing up and you're here to win a tournament, it makes a big difference. So you know, we go into Cup, and you know, another strong prelims. I think we went 3-1, and then we played against New Jersey Supreme on Sunday, and honestly, they just kind of outplayed us. They did a breakout that we weren't ready for. We weren't hitting our shots, and I think it was a 1-point game, but they won the match. And you know, just it was frustrating because, you know, we'd either dominate in the prelims or we'd do horrible, and then we just couldn't even make it to the top 4 our second season into this division. It was just frustrating.
Yeah, it is, man.
Yeah, but you know, I never got discouraged. I was, you know, still trying to play every weekend and still grinding, and going into the next year, just trying to be crisp.
Grayson, have you won a tournament yet?
Yeah.
What division?
Yeah. I've won a few 10-man tournaments, a few open division tournaments. Like I've won 3 MXLs.
Right.
I've gotten some podiums at NXL. I've gotten some podiums at WC. I've never won a WCPBL, but I've gotten seconds and thirds.
Never won a national X-Ball event though.
No.
All right, dude.
Just a couple top 4 finishes. Oh yeah.
Right. Got to put that on the list. It's one of the hardest. Well, it is the hardest league to win in. So yeah. It's no easy feat.
Some seconds and thirds was as good as it's gotten.
What's your preparation like? Sorry.
Yeah. That's it. There we go.
Yeah. What's your preparation like? What kind of schedule have you been on when you've been on this pursuit to a pro career?
So I'm working out about 5 days a week. I'm under Patty Gleason's off the leash training, and usually doing about lifting 3 times a week and cardio twice a week. And at a minimum, I'm playing once a week. And, you know, it's usually be the first one to show up and warm up with drills. Like I try to at least warm up with 1-ball drills every time I show up, with snapping, laning, and running and gunning. And then when those layout weekends come out, you know, still working out, still doing all the drills and everything, but now you have all the homework for the layout, practice videos that people have it, watching the pros at the field, double days, the whole 9 yards. Eating right, not drinking. Yeah.
Everything. It all matters. Your health is your biggest investment. Health is wealth. That's the saying, right? You've got to invest in the nutrients to power the machine, and then all be doing the work, you know, the physical exercises to prepare you for what you're going to do out there. And then, like you said, you've hit it all on the head here, doing the homework on the field, on the code calling, on the awareness, on situational positioning, how we're gonna make a decision if this happens, if this happens, if this happens, go through the whole discord of everything. And I really want to pump up Patty Gleason. I love what he's doing. Can you give him a boost here and let people know where they can get involved with him? Because he's doing a lot of great things for paintball training and helping a lot of people get in shape, which I appreciate, and definitely want to give him his shine on here.
Yeah. So I think the best way to reach him is at Patty Gleason on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And I think his handle for Off the Leash is at Off the Leash Lifestyle. Let me double check that.
Yeah,
But
if you're looking to get in shape, hit him up.
Yeah.
Pick his brain. He's ready to help people in paintball that wanna take those next steps. So I just had to take a moment for him on that. I think he's doing a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, and you know, he is a professional fitness trainer. He actually does train with professional athletes up in the Seattle area, and everything that he learns, he brings to paintball and he tailors it for paintball.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he'll work with you with nutrition, with exercises, with mobility, with injuries, anything you need. He's great.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Love that.
Yeah.
So in COVID, how did you manage that? How did you manage staying completely focused through the pandemic? And then now we're in 2021 and we're, you know, present day here, but that was crazy.
Yeah. So I actually believed the government when they said we were locking down for 2 weeks. So I was like, okay, well, I can handle 2 weeks with just some bodyweight workouts. I have a pretty good foundation. Mm-hmm. And then once we hit week 3 and 4, I'm like, okay, this is dragging on a little bit. Yeah. So then I started looking into home gym options, and I was living in my grandma's back house at the time, and luckily she was my saving grace last year because she let me build a home gym in her backyard.
Oh, wow.
Without that, that was a game changer. So
yeah,
started getting on the hustle, because last year gym equipment was on very limited supply and people were marking it up like crazy. Mm-hmm. So you had to go on websites and be ready for the stock to show up. You had to, you know, go on all the little forums and everything, look for it. So I built, you know, pretty much everything you need. I got a barbell, some weights, kettlebells, dumbbells, and a squat rack. And, you know, Patty Gleason, he's like, all right, this is what you have. Then I'll build a workout based on this. You know, if for cardio, you know, you could go running around the block. I got some jump rope. You can do some sprints, some hill sprints, you know, get some ladders for some agility drills. But yeah, I'm actually, I think I'm forever, as of now, going to be using the home gym and just kind of keep adding on to it, because it's really great.
Mm-hmm. Convenient.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, some people, they can't separate their home from their work, from their gym. And I'm lucky I don't have that problem. I walk into the room and I flip the switch.
Mm-hmm. It's important to be able to flip the switch, you know, and so many different, for me personally, it's important. I don't know if everyone's brain, you know, works similarly. But I have to sometimes even just trick myself into getting in the mood for whatever it is I'm doing, you know, and go from one thing to another. And it's some type of flow state or something happens where you flip the switch and you can go all in. And if I don't flip that switch, I'm at 50% with pretty much whatever I'm doing, you know? And so having that skill to be able to flip that switch and turn it on to go get, you know, your exercise in, or focus and sit down and do the work that you need to get done, or go and do your drills, whatever that switch is, you got to be able to just turn that on and eliminate the noises in the back of your head that are saying, no, let's relax. Let's not do this. That looks too hard. That doesn't seem comfortable. You got to turn that shit off. You know?
Yeah.
You got to turn that shit off.
It's discipline, right? I mean, discipline and tenacity and grit equity.
Yeah. Grit equity.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Grit equity. Hell yeah.
Grayson, when I asked what your goals are with paintball, you didn't really mention anything that involved a monetary return. Are you, I mean, you know, obviously I know what you do outside, but the listeners don't. Are you financially stable? You have another career, or do you plan on trying to also pursue a monetary career in paintball?
Yeah. So this is actually a conversation we had 2 years ago. I was about to just, stop working and go 110% into paintball. I've been working in the tech field for a few years as a software tester, and I actually got into that because of paintball. My old teammate, he learned that I was quitting my job as a dog walker while I was in college, and he's like, "Oh, come intern for us." And yeah, I mean, it was actually really cool. The tech world has a lot of perks like free food and you know, uh, not having to wear a suit and tie. A lot of companies, they give plenty of time off. And as I was growing, growing through the divisions and getting better, he at some point quit paintball and kind of wanted me to do the same thing. And I was going to just stop working and live on some savings and go travel and stuff. But I fortunately found a company who encourages paintball, doing the same thing. I get unlimited time off as a software tester. So yeah, that's pretty stable. And that career wise, I could, kind of continue it. I could fall in, fall out if I wanted to go full force into paintball. But as of right now, I'm able to balance the two. And they give me the freedom and the flexibility to do that.
That's a luxury, man.
Yeah, I'm super grateful.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you've earned it. It didn't just fall in your lap. You've done research, you've worked your butt off, I'm sure, in order to find the right information and place yourself in the right avenues. Things don't just happen, but it's the wherewithal to get it done. And, one of the things that I think everybody listening to this show wants to know or have some insight from you, you've accomplished what tens of thousands, if not more. I don't know. There's a lot of people out there that would love to be sitting in your shoes. You've earned a spot on Dynasty. What is some advice that you could give people that they can use to kind of follow your path? You've accomplished a big goal, and it's only the beginning for you, but it's the first step in a lineage of goals that we're going to be accomplishing. And I just think there's some insight that you could provide to people into how they can make that a manifestation of their lives.
Yeah. I mean, there's kind of a few keywords there. Discipline, always being willing to follow the regimen. If you have practice the next day, not drinking the night before, eating well, getting a good amount of sleep. If you know layout's coming out, setting aside time to learn it as best as you can. Maybe doing meetings with your team. Being willing, if there are plenty of people out there where if there's not a team practice or if they don't have a buddy to go with, they won't show up to the field even. You want to play paintball, you want to get better, show up.
That's it.
Yeah, I think just being willing to eliminate excuses and put in the work and really learning what it is that you have to do to get to the next step as you progress and keep getting better and ask tons of questions. Don't be afraid to ask these pros, like, how can I do this? How can I do that? What do you think about a layout? If they're at a local practice and they see you play, like, what could I do better?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody make sure to ask Alex Frazee what he thinks of any layout ever. Just make sure. He loves that question. He'll give you great responses. So please just DM him. You could write him some mail to the Field One Paintball store. You can do pretty much any way you can contact him. Ask him what he thinks of the last layout, the next layout, whatever layout it is. He will get back to you. He loves it.
Yeah. Message him right now.
Yes. Awesome.
Oh my God. Yes, sir.
Right.
Yeah, man, that's super valuable, dude. It's just persistence and dedication. You love what you do. And when you love what you do, you're going to do well at it. And that doesn't matter what you do. If you enjoy it. Now, sometimes there's things that you don't really love that you have to do, and you still have to do good at that. But when your heart's in it and you have passion behind every one of those footsteps, you're going to do really well at it. So just staying humbled and determined and passionate and attacking, man, never giving up. That's the key right there, dude.
Yeah, 110% there. I mean, patience and persistence. I wouldn't be here without that. right?
Mm-hmm.
And like Marcelo said, like flipping the switch, like I think Joe Rogan calls it like fighting the inner bitch. Like if you have those
Yeah.
voices that say like, I don't want to do this right now. Oh, that's hard. Just just go for it. Just
Yeah.
do it. You never know what's going to happen.
I love that. You're right,
Same.
dude. We all have that little voice in our head that's like, no, just take it easy, buddy. Or, just have a soda or, like, no, no, no. I'm going to drink some water. I'm going to hit the gym and then I'm going to go and watch some film and then I'm going to crush this tournament, Like that's the processing on that. You got to process it right for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think also, like I said, like one of my old friends did try to discourage me from progressing and playing paintball. And if there's anything in life that you really want to do, just don't let the naysayers, have their day, right? Just go for it. Just keep pursuing it, keep pushing.
Oh, I
Yeah.
got made fun of so much growing up because I played paintball, wore paintball stuff to school, had paintball stickers, drew
Yeah.
paintball fields on blank sheets of paper. It was nonstop. And it's so funny. I mean, a lot of those people are still, I'm still friends with them. And now
Yeah.
they're super envious of the life that paintball has given me. So, that
Yeah.
could be true to any passion that you have. If you believe in something and you love something, follow that through and through with all of your heart, give it all of your energy, do whatever it takes to make that dream come true. And you're going to make it work for yourself. You don't want to be doing something that you're not in love with. That's to me, not a life worth living. So find
Yeah.
some passion in anything and run with that.
Dude, the mantra for this whole entire movement, the mission statement for Play the Game podcast and Play the Game paintball is to play, to have a playful heart, to
Mm-hmm.
enjoy your experience. And, I don't care if you're, obviously I want everybody in the world to play paintball, but if you're playing with your children, if you're playing tennis, if you're playing whatever you're playing, enjoy your experience. Have a playful experience because you're just going to emit such great frequencies out of that and great things are going to happen from that. When you're in turmoil, when you're in stress, it's really hard to create good outcomes from that. So like that's one of the main reasons why we created Play the Game paintball. We want people playing. We want to play, everybody go out, enjoy yourself. Obviously we all got to work, but let's play too. Let's enjoy this experience,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Marcelo, he helped kind of talk me out of a funk at the beginning of the year. I was just, I talked about it earlier, just like, man, stuff isn't happening. But if you just turn off the negativity and just go with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You enjoy the moment, live in the moment. I think that's really important. Stop being stuck in your head about what's not happening and be grateful about what you do have and what you can do to make everything even better.
Before we let you go here, unless Tyler has any other questions, one thing I do want to say to the listeners is whatever it is that you're doing, push yourself to the absolute limit. And when you get to the point to where you feel like you're not going to make it in that field or you're not going to pass and get that degree, whatever it is that you get to your breaking point, go another 10% and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
See what happens. That's usually when the magic happens. That's usually when, people break through. Often the mind tricks you and quits on you before the good stuff comes. So I challenge you, when you get to that point, and it could be in a workout, it could be in anything, when you get to that point of being completely broken and defeated, go another 10% and just see what happens. It might change your outlook on how far you can go and how much you can push yourself.
Yeah. I love that. There's so much more. We're limitless people. I mean, the potential is limitless. We trick ourselves, the mind is so powerful. It can dupe you before you're right at the finish line,
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
Indeed. So let's see, Grayson, man, I love that I've been able to see your journey. It's crazy that you're on our team now. It's awesome. I'm excited. There's so much potential here. We have a lot of work to do. We underperformed at the last event. I know you know that. I know you feel that. We've talked about it off the air. It's a long journey and we're in this one together. So I'm excited to get to work, dude. And I'll definitely, I know Tyler is as well. And we got 5-6 weeks until the next event. So we're all in from here on out. But
that's it.
Is there anything you would like to leave the listeners with? Any advice? Where can they keep up with you? Where can they find you?
Yeah. my Instagram is at Grayson Gladstone, and always feel free to ask me questions, reach out, whatever you want. I'm around to just help the community and help grow paintball. Advice, keep going forward, be persistent, be consistent, chase a dream. I didn't think I'd be, on Dynasty. It's unbelievable. It's crazy, and it's an honor, and it means I have to work even harder now to, win with this team. That's really.
Yeah, don't let it be the shortest. Don't let it be the shortest run we ever seen. You better start. I want you slam dunking on people, and
we got a marathon.
that's right. Yeah, we have a marathon to do. That's right. Shout out to Nipsey Hussle one time. It's marathon season, and we're gonna have some fun. We got practice in a couple weeks, and let's just be working our asses off and make sure we're ready for that. And Grayson, thank you from the bottom of both of our hearts for coming on, sharing some time here with the listeners. And we can't wait to see you hold up that first trophy, bud. We're going to get that one for you.
Yeah, well, thank you guys. It's an honor to be on the show. It's an honor to be on the team. Thank you, Victor Gamboa. Yeah. Thank you, Dave Moore. There's too many people to thank that helped me get here. My friends, just everyone, right?
They should know. They should know. They should know who they are.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Awesome, man.
It's a beautiful thing, and let's keep crushing it. I'll see you guys in like a few weeks here.
Sounds good. All right, everybody. Grayson, thank you again, brother. Talk to you soon. Peace. Thank you so much, PTG fam, for tuning in. We really hope you guys enjoyed that episode. That was an awesome one. Grayson is a fantastic, humble young man with a bright future in the game as long as he keeps his head on his shoulders. So we're always excited to see the new up-and-comers carving their way and paving their path in this sport. Can't wait to see what Grayson can do on the pro field and what he can bring to our team on Dynasty. Very excited to get to practice. PTG listeners, if you guys want, you can head over to our website, ptgpaintball.com, and show your support. We have some merchandise on there. We have all of our episodes, both our audio and our video. Our YouTube is connected through there. You can also become part of the PTG team. We have an amazing Discord chat that is for our members only. You can find the link to our Patreon on there. Our website is amazing. It is beautiful, and it was done by Rusty Glaze of Constant Pursuit. Rusty is the man. If you guys need a website done, please do not hesitate to reach out. He will help you manage the website and build you one of the most dynamite sites out of anyone in your field. So whether it's for paintball or any other kind of business, Rusty is your guy. All right, everybody. As always, thank you guys so much. We are so thankful for you guys tuning in and listening to us each and every week. We're going to continue to bring you the best of the best and nothing less. All right, everybody. We'll see you very soon.